Well, hey there, this is Seth from REtipster.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can collect rent from your tenants through this free online property management software called Cozy. And if you're not familiar with Cozy, I've actually done a few videos prior to this explaining what Cozy is, how it works, how you can use it to create property listings, accept rental applications, do background checks, look at credit reports from the tenants. And the best thing is, all of this stuff is paid for by the tenant. So you as a landlord do not have to pay for anything. It's pretty amazing considering how good this software is, how many things it can do, and how well it works. So if you're at the point where you've got a new tenant who's moving into your property and you want to figure out the easiest possible way to start collecting rent from them, Cozy is pretty much the best way I know of to do that, because you don't have to rely on your tenant to mail you a check and then wait for the check to clear or give you cash or any of that stuff. The way Cozy does this is they allow the tenant to pay you through a credit card, debit card, or any kind of a checking account. So it's basically all electronic, there's no paper involved, and it pretty much happens on autopilot. So if you got that tenant and you want to get them set up in your system, first of all, you'd obviously have to sign up for a Cozy account, which is really easy. It's obviously free. I'm going to have an affiliate link to Cozy beneath this video if you want to go check it out. It's really easy to get started. But once you're signed in, you just go over here to payments, and then you're going to see a screen that looks something like this. And obviously just click on Start Collecting Rent. Now, if this is your first time in Cozy and you haven't created any properties yet, all you'd have to do is go down here and create a new property. In my case, I've already created a couple properties, which is actually part of what I showed you in some of the previous videos, which I'll link to those beneath this as well in case you want to check those out. But once you have a property loaded into the system, you can click this drop-down menu and select that property, and then keep on moving forward. And first thing you want to do is enter in the lease information. Sometimes landlords will set up month-to-month leases with their tenants, so there's no long-term commitment and there's no end date. But what I'm going to do in this example is have a 12-month lease. So I'm going to uncheck this, and we'll start it on this date and then end it exactly 1 year later like that. And then we'll go ahead and click continue. And then you just put in your tenant's information. So I'm going to list myself as the tenant just in this example. And obviously if we wanted to add another tenant, we could do that, but I'm just going to keep this simple. Click continue. And then for the recurring rent amount, we're going to have it due on the first of the month. It's going to be for an amount of $800, and the ongoing monthly payments are going to start on the first of the next month. And something you can do with Cozy is collect prorated rent. In many situations, you're not going to be starting this exactly on the first of the month, so you have to collect that amount that doesn't necessarily add up to a full month's rent, but it sort of covers every single day up until that next rent payment is due. So just do the math here quick. If we take 800 divided by 30 days, that's $26.67 per day roughly, and since the first 7 days are basically not included here because it's starting on the 8th, that leaves us with 23 days left in the month. So we'll take 23 times this 26.66 number, and that gives us $613.33. So we'll put that in here. And then automatic late fees, absolutely. So you basically need to decide at what point you consider rent to be late. By default, Cozy has this set as 5 days after rent is due. So if you wanted to have it be the next day, you could feasibly do that. If you wanted to wait 15 days, that's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and stick with this 5-day number here. And for the late fee, I'm going to put $25. But you can obviously do whatever you want within reason. And then security deposit. Do you need to collect a security deposit? Yes, I do. So I'll put this in here, and my security deposit amount is going to be $800. And this is going to be due on the 8th, the first day of the lease. Then if you wanted to add additional move-in costs, you could do that. I'm not going to mess with that though. And then at this point, you have to put in the debit card or the checking account number of wherever you want to receive this money after it's paid by the tenant. So I'm going to put my business checking account in here. And as you can see, they've got a few banks that are kind of preloaded in here just because these are huge financial institutions that a lot of people use. The one that I use, though, is a small local credit union that I don't see on here. So what I can do is search for it like this. And I'm not seeing it there. So what I'm going to do is use the account and routing numbers. And basically all I have to do here is pull up this information from one of the checks associated with my checking account. And just in case you're not familiar with where to find that, you just have to pull out any of the checks from your checking account, and you're typically going to see the routing number over on the left side and the account number over on the right side. Like for example, here's another sample of where the routing number and checking account number. Here's another one over here. So you kind of get the idea. The routing number will be over on the left. The account number will be usually in the middle or on the right. And that's where you get that info. And once you have it, you just go ahead and plug it in here. So I'm going to go ahead and load in my actual account numbers. For the nickname, I guess if you had a business name or something like that, you could put it in there. It's up to you. I'm not going to mess with it here. Then we'll go ahead and add the checking account. And then for the security deposit, we're going to do the exact same account for that. And then we'll click continue. And at this point, if you have a copy of the lease, whether you had it signed with DocuSign or if there's like a hard copy that you scanned in, you can upload that PDF or image file right here. And sometimes that can be helpful just so that both parties have really easy access to the agreement in case there's any dispute or question about what you guys agreed to. So again, that's optional if you want to do it. And go ahead and click continue. Renter's insurance. Sometimes landlords will want to make sure that that tenant has an insurance policy to cover any issues that may happen while they're living in the property. So if you want to require that and ask them to provide a copy of it, you can do that here. And then at this point, it's just going to show a quick summary of everything you put in there, and you can go ahead and confirm and invite them. And as you can see here, it says that Cozy has sent the email invite to that tenant. And then something else you'll have to do is verify your identity before you can start collecting payments through Cozy. So you basically just follow these directions here. I'll go ahead and do that quick. And then once that's all set up, you can click verify your ID. Alright, so this is what that summary page looks like for any and all payments that you've received to date. Now, something else I'm going to show you is what it looks like to the tenant when they get that invite to start paying. So in the tenant side, they're going to get an email that looks like this, and it's pretty easy to follow and make sense of. All they have to do is click on this to start setting up payments. So remember at this point, if this person applied to be a tenant in your property through your listing on Cozy, they should already have an account, so they'll just have to log back in order to get into their account. However, if they have never been to Cozy before, then they would have to sign up at this point. But in any event, I've got a tenant profile set up here on Cozy, so I'm just going to go ahead and log in, and then it just shows me this nice summary page, really clean, easy to follow. We'll go ahead and get started here. And then it shows very clearly what is being requested. Go ahead and click next. And at this point in the process, I can choose to either pay with a debit, credit, or prepaid card. And there is a 2.75% transaction fee paid by the tenant in order to do that. So it's kind of a convenience charge. Or I can set up a checking account. And then the tenant would have to go through the exact same process I just showed you on the landlord's end when they are telling the system what their checking account info is and how to draw the funds from that account. So I'll just go ahead and do that exact same thing here again. Go ahead and do this. Go add this checking account. And then if the tenant wants to pay with their checking account through the ACH function, they'll have to go through this step here to verify their account. And basically, the Cozy system is going to make 2 really small temporary deposits into that account, and then the tenant will have to come back here and verify it. So it's kind of an annoying extra little step, but the upside is they won't have to pay that 2.75% convenience fee every single time they make a payment. Of course, keep in mind, as the landlord, it doesn't really matter to you one way or another which one they do. All that matters is that you're actually getting paid. So everything I'm showing you here is purely on the tenant's shoulders to figure out, and it's really pretty simple, but that's kind of how that works. So if the tenant is ready to make their payment, they can go ahead and do it like this. All they got to do is fill out this information here. The exact amount is already going to be preloaded in there. They can specify the date when that payment's going to be sent. I'm going to have this be just tomorrow. Oh, and then we also have to say when we're going to send the last payment. So we're going to do it like that. And then all we got to do is confirm and continue in order to make this final. And again, since this is purely an example I'm walking you through here, I don't want to commit myself to making payments to myself for the next 12 months, so I'm not going to click this. But hopefully you get the idea. This is like super simple to use. both for the tenant and for the landlord. So, if you're looking for a creative way to collect payments via credit card or ACH and you just need a platform to host that payment process on, Cozy is there for you. But with that, that's how Cozy works when you are requesting payments from the tenant. I hope that was helpful and made a lot of sense. Again, if you want to use Cozy for this kind of thing, I'll have an affiliate link to Cozy beneath this video. You can feel free to check that out. Again, folks, it's free and it's really easy for everybody. So this is a very, very solid option to handle the ongoing monthly payments in a landlord-tenant relationship. So hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.